Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sudeep Mandal. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Sciences and Humanities at the Bignans Foundation for Science, Technology and Research, deemed to be university. So today I am going to discuss about the module 2 of the fuel cells. In the last module I have discussed about the invention of the fuel cells, then what are the components involved in the fuel cells, what are the classifications of the fuel cells, and the basic working principles of the fuel cells. So today in the module 2 I will be discussing about the specifically two types of fuel cells. Those are hydrogen oxygen fuel cells and methanol oxygen fuel cells. So these are the two types which are there in your unit 3 syllabus, right? So I am going to cover these two. So basically I will be discussing about what are the electrochemical reactions which are occurring at each types of fuel cells and their advantages, disadvantages, and what are the applications. So what are the field of applications we have for these two types of fuel cells. So I am going to cover these are the two types of fuel cells, right? Their working principles and electrochemical reactions which are occurring at the electrode-electrolyte interface, then their advantages and disadvantages, and some of the applications I am going to talk about. So in hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, let me show you what are the components are involved, right? So first of all, we are using hydrogen as a fuel, right? Then oxygen as an oxidant. Then the electrolyte is either you can use KOH, alkaline, or you can use H2SO4, that is acidic medium. Then the electrodes, basic electrodes are made of porous carbon or the graphite foil, right? Then catalyst we use mostly platinum or nickel or rhodium based catalyst, right? So that catalyst has to be coated on the electrode surface to carry out the electrochemical reactions. Then the charge carriers, so if you are using KOH, then the charge carrier is OH minus. If you are using H2SO4, the charge carrier is H plus. So it will be diffusing from one electrode to the another electrode depending on the which charge you have, right? Then the operating temperature, as I told in the last module, the different classifications of the fuel cells, it works in different temperature range. So the, for example, hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, it works between the 60 to 80 degrees Celsius. So these are the basic components and the operating temperatures of the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells. Here I have given a schematic representation of hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, right? So where you can see hydrogen is being purged at the anode and oxygen is being purged at the cathode, and finally you are getting out water as an exhaust and you are getting the electricity out, right? So this is one of the real applications of the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells. You can see these are the electrodes, right? And this is the support, and this is we are getting out the electricity out of it, and these pipes are there. These are basically where you are purging the two different gases like hydrogens and oxygen through the each electrode. This is one of the side of the electrodes we are showing. So maybe oxygens or hydrogens. So if the red is there, mean that is anode. So basically we are purging here hydrogen gases through that electrode, right? And other side we are purging oxygen gases. Then the electrochemical reactions will be occurring inside that cell and we will be extracting the electricity out of it, right? So based on the electrolyte, we can divide it as two types of fuel cells. One is the acidic hydrogen oxygen fuel cells if you use H2SO4 as an electrolyte, and another is called alkaline hydrogen oxygen fuel cells if you use KOH as an electrolyte. So let us, I will discuss both the types of fuel cells based on the electrolytes whatever we are using, and I will give you all the electrochemical reactions which are occurring in case of acidic and alkaline hydrogen oxygen fuel cells. So let us discuss about the acidic electrolyte. So acidic electrolyte, if you are using in the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, what are the reactions are happening? So let us talk about at anode. So what is happening at anode? So anode oxidations will occur. So what we are purging here? Hydrogen. So you write hydrogen gas. So you have to mention also the state of the fuels or oxidants, right? So you know oxidations will happen at the anode. That means will be that 2H plus 2 electron, So it will be in aqueous mode, right? So that is called oxidation at anode. So at cathode what is happening? So cathode you are purging oxygen gas, so that is going to be reduced by taking these electrons, right? So then you can put, and also you are using H2SO4, so you basically you can represent as H plus as the charge carrier. So oxygen plus 4H plus 4 electron, right? This is in aqueous, it will be giving 2H2O. So that is in liquid, right? Now this is the reduction process, so which is occurring at the cathode. Now what is the total cell reaction if I get it? So basically E cathode minus E anode, that means you need to add these two equations and finally you will get, that means this equation you have to multiply into 2 to balance the electron, because it is like 4 electron, it is 2 electrons, so you can multiply the 2, that means the total reactions will be 2H2, this is in gas, oxygen gas, it will be giving 2H2O in liquid, right? So the output voltage or E cell you will get as 1.23 volt. Now what is the EC and EA, right? So EC cathodic reactions, that is called the half cell, is 1.23 volt, and for this EA is 0 volt, which is the only hydrogen H2H plus. If you remember from the unit 2 of the electrochemical series, hydrogen as used as just 0 volt, and for the acidic medium oxygen reduced means it is 1.23 volt. So it is coming as a 1.23 minus 0, it is coming as a 1.23, right? So that is the overall cell potential of the you are getting from the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell if you are using acidic electrolyte, right? And where H plus is diffusing from the anode to cathode. So you are generating H plus at the anode, so that is going to diffuse through the electrolyte and that will reach to the cathode, and that H plus is being used in the electrochemical reactions which is occurring at the cathode, and you are getting water. So that is the basic electrochemical reactions which are occurring at each electrode, and this is the redox reaction, you can call it, like oxygen is getting reduced, right, and hydrogen is getting oxidized, and you can classify and or you can understand by seeing the oxidation number on each atom, right. Now if you use the alkaline electrolyte, in the schematic representation you can see this hydrogen is passing through the anode, oxygen is passing through the cathode. What is different here is the hydroxyl ions. So instead of H plus you are using OH minus. So if you are using OH minus, what happens? So OH minus will be flowing through the cathode to the anode. That means that is a diffusing from the cathode to the anode. So what are the chemical reactions which are occurring? So at anode oxidation occurs, so you have H2 gas plus 2H minus, that is in aqueous, you are getting out water plus 2 electrons which is oxidation, and at the cathode, so that oxygen that is in gas phase plus water in liquid phase, taking the 4 electron which is coming out from the external circuit and converting into 4OH minus, that is in aqueous. So that is the cathodic reactions. So if you are using OH minus as a electrolyte. Now what is the total cell voltage? So this process is basically the anodic process. The E anode is equal to minus 0.83 volt and E cathode equal to plus 0.40 volt if you are using alkaline electrolyte. Then you can take the difference to getting out the total cell voltage. So 0.40 minus of minus 0.83, so you are getting out 1.23 volts. So if whether you use acidic electrolyte or alkaline electrolyte, the cell voltage will be same 1.23 volt. So depending on the electrolyte, the electrochemical reactions will be little bit different because the charge carrier is different, right? But and also the cell voltage will be different, because if you remember the Nernst equation, E equal to E0 minus, right, 0.059 by N, E one oxidant by reductant. So there you can see the effect of electrolyte concentration that matters, right. So from that you can derive the, let me tell you what is the E equal to, that means E cell equal to E0 cell minus 0.059 by N log of. So this is the reactions, right. So that means if you are using different pH, so this you can convert it based on the the reductant part and the oxidation part. So based on the H plus or OH minus, you can convert into the pH scale. So if you are using acidic or if you are using alkaline, the pH will be different. So based on that, your cell potential of each half electrode will be different. So you must have studied this thing, basic things in the last unit. So I am not going to much detail of that. So that's why I just mention here what are the each potentials of each half electrode, and then how you are getting out the total potential out of it, right. So what you have to remember each electrochemical reactions which are occurring at each electrode and try to find out the total reactions of it, which is basically 2H2 gas, oxygen it is gas, and getting out water as a liquid, and finally the electricity. So this is how two different types of hydrogen oxygen fuel cell based on the different electrolyte. Now let me show you one of the video how it is working for your better understanding. So you have the anode component and cathode component. Okay. So if you are using like acidic hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, so you have the hydrogens, then you are converting 4H plus 4 electron. So that electrons are moving to the external circuit and collected by the cathode side. So the cathode rod is there, oxygen is there, so it is collecting that electron and converting to O2 minus. So that O2 minus will be combining with the H plus and forming the water, right. So what are the pros of the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell? That means what are the advantages of hydrogen oxygen fuel cell? One of the biggest advantages is zero carbon emission. So if you use fossil fuels, you are emitting carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, which are basically the poisonous and greenhouse gas, which is basically polluting, and because of that we are facing the global warming. So here there is no carbon emission, right. So that's why basically it only emits water as a product, and there is no air pollution from this. So there is one of the biggest advantage is the fuel cell is very clean energy, high efficiency. So it's, I told it is a 60% efficient. So the fossil fuels it is having 30% of efficiency, but in case of fuel cell it is 60% efficient, because it convert directly the chemical energy to the electricity without any combustion process. Because of that it is very highly efficient, and as a result of that the fuel cell can achieve high efficiency in terms of energy conversion. Then it is having high power density because it is just like 4 electron process, right. So you have the 1.23 volt. So power you can represent as a voltage into current. So you can extract like 1.23 volt, and whatever the milliampere current is there, so that will give the high power density of a system. So it's having higher power density, and that allows fuel cell to be a relatively compact source of electric power. So if you want to have the instant power, so you can use hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, like especially for the space constant and all. If you want, you can take the small fuel cell and you can use it for instant power source. Quiet operation, that means it is a basically stationary things. That means it can be used in residential or built up areas where noise pollution can be avoided. The last and not the least, that no recharge. So the fuel cell systems do not require recharging. So as long as you supply the fuels and oxidants, it will work. So in case of battery, you need to recharge that. So it is, you cannot call it fuel cell as a battery, because this is only energy conversion system. It converts one types of energy to the another types of energy. So it does not require any charging or recharging. So as long as you supply the fuels and oxidants, you can extract the electricity out of it. So these are the advantages of the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, and some of the disadvantages also there in these types of fuel cell. One of the biggest disadvantages is the storing and manufacturing of highly pure hydrogen. So whatever the hydrogens or the fuels you are supplying, it's very difficult to manufacture or to get very pure hydrogen, or storing of the hydrogen is very challenging. And also this is very expensive. The fuel cell is very expensive because you are using a lot of components which are costly, like electrodes, like graphite and all, which are very costly. Because of that, it makes it very expensive in nature. Then also it is having large weight and volume of gas, because you need to have a cylinder and all. So you need a very big setup to operate this kind of fuel cell. Then difficult to store and distribute the fuel. So that is the problem with this link with this point, which is the problem with the hydrogen. And pure hydrogen is very expensive, because manufacturing and store itself very difficult. That's why it is very expensive. Then hydrogen is highly flammable. It will catch fire. Then that's why you have to be very careful while storing. Then need to regulate the temperature. So this is one of the biggest disadvantage. So the hydrogen and all you are storing in a cylinder. That means you need to regulate the temperature and the pressure to properly maintain the system. The last point is that the only way to maintain hydrogen is to use up to 700 bars. That's what I told. The pressure and the temperature you need to maintain. So that is quite complicated in case of these fuel cells, maintaining temperature and the pressure simultaneously. So what are the applications? So we use mostly in the automobiles, like electric buses and all, cars, trucks, right? So these are the different, like boats, different applications for this hydrogen oxygen fuel cells. And we use mostly in the space aircraft or the satellite launch vehicle, SLV. We use mostly the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, and also some of the military technology we use this type of fuel cell. And batteries for electronics such as laptops and smartphone, you can also use kind of fuel cell. In the earlier days they used to have like mobile phones and all, like small fuel cell, as long as you supply the oxidant and the fuel. And sources for the uninterruptible power supply. So if you want uninterruptible power supply from renewable energy source, you can use the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells as one of the source, right? So I'll move on to the next types of fuel cell, that is called methanol oxygen fuel cell, right? So let me discuss about the components which are involved in the methanol oxygen fuel cell as like hydrogen oxygen fuel cells. So here you are using the methanol. So is the different types of fuels, which is the methanol, CH3 OH. Oxidant you are using oxygen, is the same. So electrolyte you are using KOH here. So here also it can be two types, either you can use KOH or you can use H2SO4. So based on that you can have the alkaline methanol oxygen fuel cells or acidic methanol oxygen fuel cell. Then catalyst you can use platinum or ruthenium based catalyst at the anode and the cathode side, and here charge carrier is OH minus, as I am using KOH. So this is the example for the alkaline methanol oxygen fuel cell, right? So let us see what are the components and the electrochemical reactions occurring here. So as I told you, this is the anode, is the catalyst layer which is coated on that electrode surface, which is platinum ruthenium / carbon, and we are providing the fuel as a methanol. At the cathode side, so catalyst is here we are using as a platinum carbon, and we are purging oxygen gas at the cathode side. So at the end you will get the carbon dioxide and water as exhaust from this methanol oxygen fuel cell. So what are the reactions? So anode reactions, we are having methanol which is in the liquid form, which is taking OH minus, which is coming from the electrolyte, right? This is in aqueous form. So that is giving carbon dioxide in gaseous form and water, that is liquid form, and it is a 6 electron process, right? Now what is the state of this oxidation state of the carbon in the carbon dioxide and the methanol? So this is the oxidation process, because this is occurring at the anode. So the carbon, it is -2. So how do you find out? Suppose carbon it is X, I don't know what is the oxidation state of methanol. So X plus 3, right, -2 for the oxygen plus 1 equal to 0. So X equal to -2, right? So this -2 is the oxidation state for carbon, and for carbon dioxide it is +4. So -2 to +4, it is oxidation process, right? and it is a 6 electrons are coming out, which is higher than the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. At the anode, simultaneously oxygen, this is in the gaseous form, is taking water because it's the aqueous based electrolyte, right, and the 6 electrons which are coming out from the external circuit, and it is converting to 6 OH minus, which is again in aqueous form, right. So the overall reaction is CH3OH in the liquid form plus oxygen is gaseous form, you are getting CO2 gas plus water liquid. So this is the overall reactions in the alkaline methanol oxygen based fuel cells, right. So let us see if I use the electrolyte is as a acidic electrolyte. So the charge carriers here is H plus. So what are the reactions are occurring at anode and cathode? Let us see. So you have the CH3 is methanol. So what will happen? It will be oxidizing to the carbon dioxide. So it is taking the water, right. So converting to carbon dioxide, 6H plus and 6 electron. Okay, so that 6H plus and 6 electrons will be consumed by the oxygen gas, which is at the cathode side, and it is converting to water as a liquid. Then you can add up these two reaction, and the overall reaction will be same, CH3H plus 3O2 giving 2 CO2 plus H2O, right. So each half cell reaction, I have given the potential of each half cell reactions. At the anode it is 0.046 volt, at the cathode it is 1.23 volt. If you take the subtraction, you will get E cell equal to 1.18 volt. That means it is 1.23 minus 0.046 equal to 1.184 volt, which is the overall cell potential for, I mean, methanol oxygen fuel cell, whether you consider it is acidic or the alkaline based fuel cell, right. So let us see what is the working principle in a video. So where you are using anode side as a methanol as a fuel, it is reacting with the water and giving carbon dioxide gas, 6H plus and 6 electrons. So the electrons are moving from the to the external circuit through the external circuit, and it is collected by the cathode side, and that oxygen it is taking, consuming that 6 electron and 6H plus, which is produced and which is diffusing, and it is converting to the OH minus. So this is the role of the catalyst here. So if you don't use the catalyst, the activation energy is this much. But if you use the catalyst, you can reduce the activation energy. So that is the role of the catalyst. You can bring down the activation energy of any electrochemical reaction, by which you can produce more energy. And this is one of the structure of the Nafion membrane, which we use instead of like aqueous based electrolyte. We can use the proton exchange membrane, which will allow only certain ions. In case of this, it allows only the H plus ions to move through that, right. So what are the pros or advantages of the methanol oxygen fuel cell? Is it is a liquid fuel we are using. So it is liquid fuel at normal temperature we can use. It is having the high energy density. So how can I say it is high energy density? If you remember this equation, minus NFE. So where F is the constant, which is 96,500 coulomb, right. So one only dependent is number of electrons and total cell voltage. So for the methanol oxygen it is 1.184 volt and number of electrons is 6. And in case of hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, the number of electron is 4. So in case of methanol oxygen fuel cell, number of electron is 6. So that's why it is having high energy density. If you take the product of these three, you will get high energy density of this methanol oxygen fuel cell as compared to the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells. Then methanol can be refueled quickly and simply, because as liquid there is no problem with the storing as compared to the hydrogen. So that's why it can be refueled quickly and simply, and methanol is arguably the most efficient carrier of the hydrogen, because it is like CH3OH, so you have lot of hydrogens. So it's the efficient carrier of hydrogen. So the simplicity of the methanol storage drastically reduces the weight of the system, because there is no cylinder and all. You can just put the liquid and you can avoid that large. I mean, that's why it is very simple, and it's ideal for low power density but high energy density. So high energy density, as I told, it is having higher electrons which are coming out from the electrochemical reactions. And in case of if you have application, if you want to use for low power density application, you can use the methanol oxygen fuel cells. And methanol is also biodegradable, so that does not does not pollute anything. Some of the disadvantages also there. So one of the biggest disadvantages, it liberates carbon dioxide. That means it is having the carbon emission. So along with the water, it liberates carbon dioxide, which actually polluting the environment. That one sense you can say. Also another intricacy is there, that is it forming the carbonate. So basically, if you are forming carbon dioxide as a product, if you are using aqueous electrolyte, aqueous alkaline electrolyte, that means it will form potassium carbonate. So this potassium carbonate, which will clog the electrolyte surface, and thereby it will decrease the efficiency. That means the role of the catalyst or the effectivity of the catalyst will be decreased because of the clogging of this carbonate. So that is one of the biggest disadvantages, and overall efficiency is very poor, right? Although it is having a higher energy density, but overall efficiency, that means because of this clogging, the efficiency is getting lower. And fuel can cross the methanol. What about the fuels you are using, like methanol, that can cross the electrolyte without reacting sometimes. As the liquid, it will simply flow without reacting, and by which you can expect the lower efficiency. It is having a low power density, that is one of the disadvantages. And methanol is somewhat toxic and also corrosive, and it is very flammable, much like gasoline. So that is one of the disadvantages. You have to be very carefully monitor the system or maintain the system. And also it is poisoning the catalyst surface. This is also one of the poisoning, and also this is the poisoning the catalyst surface seriously slows down the oxidation reaction. So methanol, which are using as a fuel, so that is you are purging through the anode, right, where oxidation is working. So by this process, it is basically poisoning the catalyst surface, by which your oxidation reactions efficiency will be decreasing. Right. So some of the applications for this fuel cells, or like direct methanol fuel cells, are there. So if you are having low power density up to 20 watt, you can use this thing. So basically we use some of the electronics equipment such as notebooks, video cameras, DVD players, cells, and some medical devices, and some military uses also. You can use this kind of methanol oxygen fuel cell for the potential applications. So I will summarize overall module 1 and module 2. So the fuel cells is an electrochemical energy conversion systems where you can directly convert the chemical energy and the electrical energy, and the efficiency of this kind of fuel cells is around 60%, like general fuel cells. And it can provide an alternate efficient of non-polluting power source. If you consider the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, it only gives out the water as an exhaust. So it does not produce also no noise and no moving parts. And there are various types of fuel cells which we have discussed based on the electrolyte, based on the fuels, based on the oxidants, and different temperature range. And hydrogen oxygen and the methanol oxygen fuel cells are used in many fields of applications, such as like submarine, military technology, electronic gadget, and like spacecraft and satellite launch vehicle in the space application. So it is having huge application in the space and all, because where you can having instant power if you supply the fuels and oxidant, and if you want to extract the instant power, you can also use any one of the fuel cell to extract the electricity, right? So some of the questions you can prepare from that, like you can categorize the different types of fuel cells, explain the working principle of hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, right? Then list what are the components are involved if you want to construct the fuel cell. Then write down, this is a very important question, write down the electrochemical reactions working at each electrode. So whenever I will talk about the principle, so that means you need to mention the components are involved in that fuel cells plus electrochemical reaction. So these are the two things you need to remember, and talk about these two things to write the answer for the working principles of the any fuel cells. Then point out the pros and cons of the methanol oxygen or the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, and mention some of the applications for two types of fuel cell. So that's it. So if you have any questions, you can write to me in this email ID sudeepmandal.chm@gmail.com or drs_sh@vignan.ac.in. Okay, thank you.